What? Bang!
Whoa! Wrestling podcast. Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
Rep, screw, rep.
Yeah!
Woo!
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Can he do it? Unbelievable!
Too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am Macho King Savage.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty! I said WWE stands for! It's me, Austin! I will never retire!
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. Hey, look, are you sick and tired of dropping far too much money every single year for the latest and greatest wrestling video game? You gotta stop, put that cash back in your pocket, and head on over to Wrestler Unstoppable, totally free. All you gotta do, go to the website, app.wrestlerunstoppable.com, sign up with your email address where you can create a wrestler, sign contracts, get into storylines, headline PLEs, even build your own company from the ground up. I'm talking championships, divisions. You get to determine all of it. And it is all free. App.wrestlerunstoppable.com. If you get into there, look up Odin Maximus. That will be my avatar. I'll be happy to help you get started in the game. But you got to check it out totally free, like I said. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, want your name in the shout-outs like my good buddy John down in Texas, then you got to go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/ProWrestlingPodcast. Sign up today. We do have loyalty rewards. Anybody who signs up with a $15 a month contribution gets to co-host a show with me. If you sign up with a $7.50 contribution, you are entered into a drawing to also co-host with myself. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you've got questions, comments, anything you want to touch on in the future episode, the best way to get those questions or comments to me is through the Pro Wrestling Sound Off line, 267-642-1160, and I will get to those in a future episode. Tonight, diving into the conversation around Roman Reigns and the WWE Luchador tournament that will be crowning Roman's opponent for the Raw Mexico City show. Now, you would have thought at the beginning that the whole point of doing this was to pop ticket sales and viewership for either Triple Mania or Worlds Collide. If you're looking at Triple Mania, they're trying to get TV execs and things to, buy into giving AAA an American television show. Having Roman Reigns there would have really helped do that. Some people are saying maybe we'll see CM Punk there. Don't know. Worlds Collide is going to be going head-to-head with All Out. So you would think that's another opportunity for WWE to counter-program using Roman Reigns in a AAA opportunity. But neither one of those came to fruition. Instead, now there's people who still think CM Punk is going to show up in Chicago for Worlds Collide. That's possible, I guess. He did make a joke online about, it wouldn't be the first time he wore a mask. But the Roman Reigns thing, this is going to be on Raw. So that was the first thing. So Ray announces it online. It's very exciting to see that they're going to do something unique with the Luchadors and then leading that into Roman Reigns. The problem I have is that nobody in their right mind thinks that Roman's going to lose the championship to whoever wins this tournament or to anybody else in WWE for that matter until WrestleMania, where he'll probably lose it to Oba Femi. So everything you do between now and then, you have to be careful what you do because you don't want to bury talent. Okay, you want to get people over. Now, a couple things. One, the brackets came out. They came out earlier today, and the brackets are very interesting if you ask me. One thing I noticed right away, there is no El Grande Americano in the tournament. That, to me, is a missed opportunity. He is over like Rover in Mexico. He is basically the face of AAA right now. How you don't have him, especially when you create this fictional character who supposedly is the greatest luchador of all time, how do you create that character and not have him in the luchador tournament to face Roman Reigns for a championship? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. That's just my interpretation of it. After that, I did notice something else, that the finals of the tournament could theoretically Be the first time we get to see a legendary showdown. It's happened in other companies, and we're going to get into that because I'm going to go through each matchup and explain to you what I'm talking about. The first matchup on the show, and the matches are going to take place on Raw. The first match we're going to see is Penta versus Laredo Kid. Now look, Laredo Kid is a quality talent. Great kid. Super matches. He and Penta will probably put on a clinic, and I hope they do, and I hope WWE lets every one of these matches do what they can do. But I don't think anybody in their right mind thinks that Penta's losing that match. Penta's going to beat Laredo Kid. After that, we get Psycho Clown versus La Parka. And because it's WWE, and because they're so heavily marketed, I truly believe that Psycho Clown is the more marketable character in the current setup of WWE. La Parka, you get those WCW vibes, old school. That's probably why he's in the tournament, to get that old school nostalgic feel about it. But I don't think he's going to beat Psycho Clown. If you were a fan of AAA, you'd know Psycho Clown has been one of the most pushed talents in their company for years, and their fan base would probably be very frustrated if they see La Parka win that match. So I'm expecting Psycho Clown to win. And then on the other side of the bracket, Dragon Lee taking on El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. This is the one that actually bothers me because El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. should win the match. He should. That's just my opinion. I think he is a AAA mega championship level caliber talent. He's been around a very long time. He's done so much on the indies, AAA. He's been on Lucha Underground, all that kind of stuff. I think this would be a great coming out party for him. But for whatever reason, WWE doesn't do that. They push their own guys, and Dragon Lee being his opponent, they're going to push Dragon Lee, so Dragon Lee is going to win that match. And it's actually going to tie into the next match, is why Dragon Lee is going to win the match. Because the last pairing is El Fiscal versus Rey Fenix. Now, I'm not hugely experienced in El Fiscal's matches. I had to go look up everything about the guy because as much as I love wrestling, I don't memorize everybody. He's been wrestling for 4 years, started in 2022, still a young kid, solid luchador, does some good stuff, but he's not beating Rey Fenix, especially since Rey Fenix carries gold in that company right now. So Rey Fenix is going to win that match and face Dragon Lee. WWE in a AAA luchadors thing is going to have their guys win 3 of the 4 matches heading out of the show. So you're going to have Dragon Lee, let's go to this matchup, Dragon Lee versus Phoenix, which I firmly expect Phoenix to win. Phoenix will go to the finals to face the winner of Psycho Clown and Penta. And I don't see Penta losing to anybody right now because he just lost the Intercontinental Championship and he's over as anybody in the company. And I think you have to give him the win, which means, going back to my original statement, we are going to see for the first time in a WWE ring, Penta versus Rey Fenix, the Lucha Bros, reunited as opponents, which I hope somewhere down the line leads to a reunion as a tag team. But they are, if they do things right, if WWE knows what they're doing, especially coming off of the 2 El Grande Americanos facing off, let these two go at it. They have put on some legendary matches in the past. Obviously, nobody knows each other better than brothers. Let them do what they do best. These two are going to meet in the finals. Penta's probably going to win, and we're going to see Roman Reigns versus Penta on Raw. I love it and hate it all at the same time. I love Roman Reigns facing Penta, especially if Roman Reigns allows Penta to look like a legitimate threat to the championship. However, I hate it because there's no way in heck Penta's winning the championship, and I really want Penta to have that opportunity at some point in the future. I don't see that happening here, and this is part of the problem, and this leads into the next thing I want to get into, not trying to fast track away from the tournament, but Penta and also other talents like LA Knight, like Kevin Owens, like Sami Zayn. These are guys who right now, because you have the top spots monopolized by people like Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, they aren't going to get their chance to walk with the belt. No one's taking anything from Roman till Mania, where Oba's going to do it. What sense would it make to take the championship off Roman to just give it back to him so you could have that big match in Saudi? And that's really what they're going to do. And the reason I say that is look at who's left. Apparently, The Rock is booked solid, so he's not going to do Rock and Roman at Saudi. John Cena is a man of his word. I believe that. He's not going to wrestle anymore, so he's not going to be at Saudi. You know, you've got, obviously, Taker's not coming back. AJ Styles isn't coming back for that. He would come back to do something with his son, but I don't think that's a Saudi Arabian WrestleMania moment. You know, what major megastar are you going to put on that card in Saudi Arabia to really get it over, knowing that the Saudis like to pay top dollar for talent? I don't see Stone Cold coming back by the time WrestleMania gets here. He'll be 62 years old. He'll be many years removed, 4 or 5, I can't do the math in my head off the top of my head, 4 or 5 years since the Kevin Owens match. I mean, it has to be that long because Kevin Owens has been out for a year and a half, you know? So I don't think Stone Cold's coming back to have a match, not at 62, because he's very concerned about what he looks like, what it doesn't tarnish anything, which it doesn't, by the way. So who's left? Who's that marquee guy who you're going to put up there? It has to be Oba and Roman. It probably is going to end up being Punk and Cody again, I would imagine. Or who else are you going to put in there with Punk? Is this where you finally coronate Braun Breaker? I don't know. I think Braun and Oba would not be a terrible idea. But again, there's just not enough big stars. So somebody like, Penta getting this chance with Roman Reigns, and then following it up at Money in the Bank, I'm fairly certain it's going to be LA Knight. He's not taking a championship anytime soon. They hot potatoed the WWE championship over on SmackDown, so Kevin Owens isn't taking that championship. So you got to be careful here and tread lightly, because if you do this too often, people like KO, people like LA Knight, people like Penta, you're never going to look at them as world championship material. And I have a frustration that after SummerSlam, Triple H talked about I'm going to use my terms, the monotonous constant booking of the same people at the top of the card, and basically implied that if you want to be at the top of the card, you got to get yourself over. You have to be given an opportunity. And given mid-card matches against mid-card talent is not going to get anybody over. A few months ago, maybe 6-8 months ago, we all thought that Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu was a future main event at WrestleMania. Maybe for Saudi Arabia. Now, Jacob is so cooled off, it's ridiculous. And obviously, he has to have another match with Roman, and he won't win that one either. So that's out. And then what do? You got Braun Breaker. Who's Braun going after? He already wrestled CM Punk and lost, so it doesn't make sense to send him that direction. Are you going to send Braun after Roman? Well, no, because Braun's not going to take the belt from Roman unless you're going to do Braun and Oba, which I think when they teased that at the house show in Europe, it was very exciting for the fans, but I don't foresee that being the main program going into WrestleMania season. So they got to be careful here, because you're putting on some matches that matter, but you're also going to stagnate the quality of some of these talents if you do it that way. And that's problematic. And where I'm at right now, I'm outdoors. You can probably hear the cicadas chirping in the background, and the helicopter flew overhead. I apologize. But that being said, I still want to see the match. I want to see Penta Roman. I want to see LA Knight Roman. I just want to see them put over strong. I don't want to see them I don't want to see Roman conquer people constantly. I'm not over Roman. I heard what was said about Roman this week by Conrad Thompson. I don't agree. I don't think he's the most overrated WrestleMania main eventer of all time. I think the guy can wrestle, but much like Brock Lesnar, they don't want him to do certain things, and they only want him to do the things that he's really good at, and that's getting boring. I don't want it to. It just is. Speaking of Brock Lesnar, word is that the high-up executives at TKO expect Brock back for Saudi. They expect him back for WrestleMania. And I'm not surprised. You think about it. How much money would they be willing to pay Brock Lesnar? They're paying like $300 and some odd million for the Royal Rumble they had this year, WrestleMania next year. What is a couple more million for one match for Brock to come back? And what is the storyline? It's real simple. Brock and Gunther. You want to put a marquee match on the card, Brock and Gunther. That's my opinion. And the report came out this week that's been nixed twice. Apparently, the WrestleMania one, when the allegations from Janelle Grant came out, was not the first time that had come up. It come up previously and nixed the first time. Then they nixed the second time because of the lawsuit. Maybe this is when we'll finally get it, especially if the Grant stuff is wrapped up. Plus, they're doing the Hall of Fame over in Saudi. I think Brock is a good one to put into the Hall of Fame while you're in Saudi Arabia. Probably a good time to put in Vince McMahon, too, if his stuff is all cleared up. I don't know that they'll do two big names like that, but if there was ever going to be a time to do it, that would be the year to do it. So I suspect that might be the case. But I was listening to James Romero and Stevie Richards talking about LA Knight, and I feel the same way. They were talking about, trying to be careful with his character because you're going to make it so he's just unbelievable. Like he's never going to reach that level, and it makes no sense to take the championship off Roman and put it on LA Knight. Makes no sense to take the championship off of Punk and put it on Kevin Owens, and it certainly makes no sense to take it off Roman and put it on Penta right now. Still loving to see the match. Speaking of the Royal Rumble, the conversation has begun about 2-night Royal Rumbles, men's on one night, women's on the second night, or vice versa. I don't know how I feel about that because Royal Rumble is a long match to begin with, and they don't typically fill up the card with a lot of other things. However, the one exciting thing about doing 2-night Royal Rumble If you put 4 other matches on the card both nights, that's more talents getting an opportunity to be out there. And you could combine AAA, NXT, WWE Raw, WWE SmackDown. Heaven forbid they ever do purchase a Japanese company like AJ Styles wants them to do. But it sounds like they're talking about 2 nights. Now, I know that the conversation about 2027, I believe, is in Indianapolis. Maybe that's where you start it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But very exciting stuff if they stack the cards. If not, if it's like 2 matches and then a Rumble, that'll be annoying. If I were fans, I would not pay to see that. I'm not going to pay to see 3 matches in a night and go home. 2 Rumbles in a night, I'd see. 3 matches, 2 of them being regular matches, 1 Rumble, not worth the ticket price. Not the way they're charging ticket prices right now. It just doesn't make sense to me. One last WWE thing for today, and then we'll get to an AEW thing. WWE, Patrick Dooley, basically the number 2 guy with Triple H, has been terminated. He was a guy who handled like international deals, television rights deals. He got AAA their television deal down in Mexico. He's instrumental in several big, high-profile transactions the last several years, and somebody that Triple H is very heavily leaned on, and he's been let go. And the word is this kind of caught Triple H by surprise, caught a lot of people by surprise, and the decision was not a Triple H decision. This is an Ari Emanuel or like a Mark Shapiro level decision. And that's got to be concerning for Triple H, that they just let people go whenever they see fit. And this isn't like a talent thing. This is just an outright termination and no real explanation given. So, and it's not like they've announced anybody replacing him in the position he was working. Like, I think he was like the president of global strategy or something like that. So kind of shocking. But if you're Triple H, you got to wonder, like, how safe is my spot here as the creative lead in the company? People just, I don't understand TKO sometimes. I really don't. And then the last bit for tonight, switching gears a little bit because the show's been very WWE heavy, but got to touch on something that came across the news feed. It was, for me, a little distressing. Jim Ross, longtime announcer, originally in Mid-South Wrestling, the UWF, WCW, WWE, AEW now. His contract runs out at the end of the month, and this is it. He's basically made it clear he doesn't think he's getting another contract. He doesn't think it makes sense for Tony Khan to pay him for everything he does. He's having surgery this Wednesday, brain surgery, and I apologize because I'm not a brain doctor. I'm not even going to try to explain what he's having done. I believe they said it was a shunt, but I don't know how all that works. I'm not a brain guy. But prayers and well wishes to Jim Ross, who made it clear that this, he's had such a great career, he's done so much, that this is probably it. And if it is indeed the end of Jim Ross's, announcing career and time actively in the professional wrestling world, then, what a career he has had. What an awesome contributor to the business. I'm still kind of hoping it's not. I understand some of his performances in recent years haven't been legendary Jim Ross performances, but I don't care. I really don't care. I love the nostalgia of seeing him. So I'd love to see him stay on in his role. But if this is indeed the end, and best of luck in his future endeavors, like WWE used to say. And hopefully he'll keep doing his Grilling with JR podcast, which is wonderfully successful, and maybe that's what he can do, and maybe do some cons here and there and things like that. It'd be great to meet the guy at some point. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode. We run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks as always go out to Suno for creating the music and sound effects I use in my show. If you want to bring a new friend to family game night, I got 3 options for you, all available through thegamecrafter.com. One from Sketchy is Sketchy People from Beezle Games. It's like a Pictionary meets Chutes and Ladders kind of game. Check that out. If you want to compete against people who is the best shopper in the supermarket, grab Banani Market by Doodle Games. And if you want to travel around the cosmos picking up all the legendary elements, grab Legendary Elements by Fufu Games. 3 great gaming options. If you're into old school board games, they are wonderful. I grabbed a copy of each one. And I won't endorse something that I haven't tried myself. And honestly, this show, I'm not paid sponsorship by anybody right now. It's all because I believe in the products that I push. Wrestler Unstoppable, the board games, all that. Totally free. I don't get paid a nickel. I do that because it's the right thing to do, because they're great quality products and I want to see people have a good time with them. The one thing that is my own, if you're looking for your next career decision, you're considering college, university life, maybe you just need some formal training for your next opportunity, go to my website, Fro Life Planning, where you can get all the things you need for your next step into the corporate world, into whatever endeavor you're looking to do. We have everything there is to help you out with your next step in higher education. So Fro Life Educational Planning, it's not for today. It's for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking some time with us tonight. Until next time, take care, everybody. Have a good one.